everything changes.
Hey, what's going on, Rockstars? Welcome back to the Rockstarflipper YouTube channel. And something I haven't talked about at the end of the year and beginning of 2020 was inventory storage. I have a new set of viewers, a lot of new viewers to this channel, and also some of you that are still struggling with inventory. So I wanted to show you a couple of things with our inventory. We have some stuff over here that's probably done correctly and some stuff over here that's not done correctly, and vice versa. So I kind of want to show you some of the ways that I recommend that you do it. And I still do some things the old school way because I'm simply just being lazy and don't feel like redoing it, but I will at some point, of ways that probably isn't the best. Now, I think that my inventory is fairly good and not the worst, but there's definitely some room for some improvement. So I will take you to look at a couple different types of items, some hard goods, some clothing, and then you guys can get a general idea of how you want to do it. Now, most inventory setups, if you're buying bins or storage shelves, you should be able to spend under $100 to get a nice setup. 150 would be the max, but really if you're just getting started, you can spend 20, 30, 40 bucks and get yourself rolling, out on a good start. Now, I'll link some stuff down below. It's probably not the cheapest. You can always find cheaper stuff. It is cheap. It's not the most expensive, but it's just stuff that I recommend. I'll link below that you can take a look at. But also, feel free to shop at Walmart or on eBay or on Amazon to find your supplies. You don't ever have to buy the stuff that I link, but if you do go shopping on those sites, please use the link first because I get credit for anything you buy, whether it's my stuff, my links, my stuff that I recommend, or things that you find on your own once you've gone there. So I do appreciate that. Let's go take a look at the inventory. Okay, so this is kind of one old school way of doing clothing, and we've done this for a long time. And essentially what you do is you label a bin, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, through Q, R, whatever. And if you get past Z, you can do like bin A1, bin A9, A2, A7, A3, whatever you have, right? And so you can put clothes, jeans, whatever. You can even do shoes. Now, there's two real ways to do this. And one way to do it is to just put the stuff in the bin. And so I'm going to pull this bin. There's not much in this bin, but you guys can see there's clothes. So let's say that we have 25 pieces in this bin, right? And so Q has 25 pieces. In your SKU line, you'll just put Q. Now, the proper way that you probably should do it, I never did it this way for a couple of reasons, which I'll tell you in a second, but you could label this bin Q, and then you could pre-bag the items and label them Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5. And then when you come into the bin, if you sold item Q3, you would know to just grab the bag that's labeled Q3, which I'll show you in just a second in another bin. So that's how you probably should do it. Now, the reason that I never actually did it that way is because people would ask questions, then I'd have to go and unpack the item, right? I'd have to go open it up, get measurements, answer the questions. So if you do all that work before you bag it up and put it in here, then you're probably good to go. Otherwise, if you don't get the measurements, then you're gonna have to dig through and get measurements and stuff. But this is probably the best way. Get yourself a bin and then label it with a letter or a number. It could be bin 1, bin 2, and you could do 1A, 1B, 1C. Pre-bag the item and then go ahead and stick it inside of your bin. And then you can find it pretty quickly. You just flip through the bags until you find Q1 or Q2 or Q3 or whatever it is that you have. If your bin is A1, then you could do like A11, A12, A13, A14, something like that. However is going to be easiest for you to recognize. Now again, in this bin, I just have stuff thrown. So this was kind of our old bin system that way. Now let me show you some of the upgraded ones and show you what they look like. All right, so I brought you back in the house. Lighting's a little bit better. I just realized the lighting sucks out there. So this is going to be, for those of you that don't know, I bought like 3,000 remotes. We've listed several hundred of them. And this would be the same kind of idea. So bin B, we've done A, B, C, D, E, F for remotes. So we know when we sell a remote, we go over to the remote side and look for the proper bin, and they're numbered. Now, I do recommend clear bins. Actually, clear bins for the clothing is probably good too. No particular reason, but you can see like, one, if your level of your bin is getting low, you can start reusing numbers and refill them. So that's probably a good idea. But just like I just recommended, this is number or letter B31, right? And then we got B32, B35. Now the only downside to this is there's no way to like keep them in line and order, you know what I mean? So you kind of have to just dig through, but it is quicker when you're looking for one particular thing, especially with remotes, when a lot of them sort of look the same. You want to have them numbered individually so you can just grab the one that you need and you know it's right. Just don't grab the wrong number. Now, if you sell B11, which is this one, you could unbag this in theory and reuse the number. Now be careful if you do that, because down the road, let's say you need to do a search on an inventory for something, refilling it or a return happens. You don't want to end up with numbers that are recycled and then they end up having two items with the same SKU number. So I don't recommend reusing them until you're way down the road with them, until they've been sold for a long time, if that makes sense. So again, we got a clear bin, it's labeled B. All of the items are individually numbered. And something like this bin is probably a $3 or $4 bin. And this bin probably could hold about 40 or 50 remotes if we had to. There's probably about 25 in there right now, maybe 20, 25, something like that. It could hold easily 30, if not 40, without really overdoing it. If you're doing something like neckties, you could pre-package them into the clear baggies or into your poly baggies. If you do them into your polys where you can't see what they are, you'd have to label the outside of that. And you could probably put 15 or 20, maybe 30 ties into something like this. If you're doing clothing, these bins are smaller than those ones you just saw, so you definitely need bigger bins. I think those ones are like 60 quarts or 58 quarts. I'll check for you when I link them below. But those are big. These are probably in the neighborhood of like a 20 quart, maybe. They don't say anywhere. They probably, oh, here they do, actually. This is a 15 and a quarter by 11 by 11, 6 gallons. So 6 gallons, about 4 quarts to a gallon. So 24 quarts, that's what I thought. These are about 24 quarts. Those ones are definitely double this size, if not bigger, 50, 60 quarts. So that's the size you're probably looking for. Just for size reference, this is a 24 quart, 6 gallon. As long as my math is right, 4 quarts to a gallon, I'm pretty sure. But that's what it will hold. So there you go. And I'll try to link, again, a couple different sizes for you below. And this should handle your things like small remotes, small electronics, shirts, ties. If you're doing jeans, again, in a big bin, you may only be able to hold 10 or 15 pair. You'll have to get more bins. Or, you know, some people like to just do shelving units. And so if you're going to do a shelving unit, we have one of our decorative shelves we just put up over there, but pretend like that's a big shelf. You could do the top shelf and number it shelf 1, and then you could stack jeans. Let's say they stacked, you know, 4 across and 4 high, so you could put 16 pair of jeans on the top shelf 1, and you could label them 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E, or you could label the shelf A, A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, and then stack the jeans in that order and try to keep them organized if you're good about it, and you could just use the shelf numbers rather than bins. Then all you have to do is buy some shelves and line them up along your wall. I really recommend bins though if you can do it. So that's kind of good inventory habits. If you're selling shoes, a little bit harder. You know, they're gonna fill up a bin quick. Shelves, they don't really stack too well. So with shoes, bins are probably the best idea. You're gonna have a lot of bins though if you have a lot of shoes. Also, if you're selling big stuff, if you're selling CD, DVD players, you know, VHS, DVD combos, you're selling PlayStations, you're selling big routers, you're selling a laptop maybe, maybe you're selling a big vintage pot or something. Those are items you really can't do a lot with as far as inventory goes. You're kind of going to just have to pick a spot in your house, a closet, maybe a shelf, and put those items individually on there. Maybe you've got a lot full of action figures. You can bag those up, poly bag them, whatever, and then label it, you know, like WWF, and then put it on that shelf. You'll have to get kind of creative with those. Not really a good answer for that. Maybe down in the comments, some of you will have a better answer for some of those odd big items or how you do it. But what I would love for you guys to do is comment what kind of inventory system you use and how it works for you. Also, if you're not a member of my free Facebook group, Thrifter Reseller World, go join that, drop your email and join the email list. Come on into the group, and I'm gonna start a thread in there about inventory. I'm gonna link this video, so then I want you guys to come in there and you can take a picture of your inventory if you're a part of the group, and then drop it on that thread. It'll be up tonight, probably it's almost 8 p.m. Eastern, so about 9 p.m. Eastern. And drop your picture so some other people can get some good ideas, especially the beginners and newbies, of how you do it. So appreciate you guys watching the video. Thank you to all of you that are experienced, expert sellers and have great inventories. I'd love for you to go in the group and help out and show people. Sorry this is a beginner video for you, but hopefully this helps some people learn. So Thanks as always, guys. And again, if you are a newbie beginner seller, I'll put links below. I'll put the link to the Facebook group. Come join us, come check it out, learn something, and give it a shot. You know, inventory is not that difficult to keep track of, and this will hopefully keep you in line. The worst feeling in the world is to sell something and you can't find it. It causes bad customer service, cancel, defects, all that good stuff you don't want. So have a wonderful night, guys. I will see you next time. And for those of you that didn't pick up the $20 20-cent package for 2020 that has all my training videos, all of the webinars, all of the guides, the private group, everything that you need for this entire year, it's only $20.20. Good for the year. Pick it up below. I'll link that as well. And I'll see all of you in the next video.